And welcome back to another daily devotion. I am Pastor Roy here at Woodlawn Christian Church in Lake City, Iowa, and this devotion is for Tuesday, January 23rd of 2024. It's my older sister Laura's birthday today. We are in the Gospel of Mark. We are in the 6th chapter. Today we're going to look at verses 30 to 44, a bigger block of text, but this is the feeding of the 5,000. Now, the feeding miracles are integral to the Gospels. All 4 Gospels have feeding miracles in them. So let's jump into this, talk a little bit about it, see if we can see how we can apply it to our own understanding of Jesus and our own interaction and how we can respond to Jesus. Let's jump in. Mark chapter 6, verses 30 to 44. The apostles returned to Jesus and told him all that they had done and taught. And he said to them, "Come away by yourselves to a lonely place and rest a while." For many were coming and going, and they had no leisure even to eat. And they went away in the boat to a lonely place by themselves. Now many saw them going and knew them, and they ran there on foot from all the towns and got there ahead of them. As he went ashore, he saw a great throng, and he had compassion on them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd, and he began to teach them many things. And when it grew late, his disciples came to him and said, "This is a lonely place, and the hour is now late. Send them away to go into the country and villages around about and buy themselves something to eat." But he answered them, You give them something to eat." And they said to him, "Shall we go and buy 200 denarii worth of bread and give it to them to eat?" And he said to them, "How many loaves have you? Go and see." And when they had found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. Then he commanded them all to sit down by companies upon the green grass. So they sat down in groups by hundreds and by 50s, and taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven, and blessed and broke the loaves, and gave them to the disciples, and set before the people, and he divided the 2 fish among them all. And they all ate and were satisfied, and they took up 12 baskets full of broken pieces and of fish. And those who ate the loaves were 5,000 men. And of course, we've all heard, it says at the end there, 5,000 men. That's just counting the men. There's probably 5,000 women and however many children. So this is really a big group of people. This is a large gathering. Now we need to remember what is the timeline here. The apostles returned to Jesus. We had an eruption there where we had the story about, spent 2 days talking about John the Baptist and his death, his murder by Herod and Herodias. But before that, Jesus had sent the disciples out 2 by 2 to go and heal and to preach. And so they've now come back, is what's going on here. And they are telling him all the things they said. And Jesus says to them, "Come away by yourselves to a lonely place and rest a while." They're weary. They've been out. They're excited, but they're weary because they've been out and doing these great things. They went out on this commissioning of 2 by 2. So Jesus wanting to give them some respite and some time to recover. So let's go away, we'll find a lonely place. Doesn't work out. Folks see him. Now, the Sea of Galilee, you can see the other shores from, one place. It's not like an ocean. It's a lake. And so people could see he was going to, hey, he's heading that way. Let's cut around and go by land as fast as we can. And so people got around and cut him off, so to say. Not coming from clear to the other side, no doubt, but they probably were on the shore and saw him heading towards, and hey, we can go through here and cut through the valley, and we're there. And this is what's happened. And he comes to this group of people. There's a bunch of people. I mean, this is a great throng of people. And that's actually the word that's used in here, is throng. So what is going on here with this feeding miracle? And again, this is something we have in all of the Gospels. There's 2 ways to look at this. One, it's an actual materialized miracle, I guess, a manifestation miracle that Jesus is. And of course, one thing before we go into that, it is a foreshadowing of the Last Supper, because he is doing the same thing here. He is looking up to heaven. He's blessing and breaking. This is very much like the Last Supper. It's very much like our communion. Once he blessed the bread, he broke the bread. This is very similar to what many ministers would use in their words of institution. It's very similar to what I use for words of institution. So again, you can either look at this one of 2 ways, and to me, I think it's good to look at it both ways, and because one plays into what we can do today. Because unfortunately, I can't break bread and have it infinitely be breaking into pieces and just keep going. I don't know anybody that's going to be able to do that, save for Jesus. But Jesus has given them all they need. We can look at this as being material bread. We can look at this as being spiritual bread. And I think both the ways to look at that are important as well, because they are satisfied. And only Jesus is going to satisfy. Everything of this world, you're going to need it again. But the living water, as they say in the story of the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman at the well, that water we don't need. We are filled with that water. We are satisfied. So we look at it as a material manifestation, I guess. I want to say manifestation, miracle, where the bread and the fish just keeps multiplying. So much so that at the end they have 12 baskets full of bread. And that's important because it is a reflection back on a couple of different things. First of all, the 12 disciples, and second, the 12 tribes. But with the 12 disciples, it's important to remember he sent them out with their faith in 2 by 2, and here they're questioning him about whether he can do what he's saying here. So it's kind of you guys didn't believe me. Here's a basket for each of you. At the end, you can look at it that way, and I think that's a good way to look at it. But the way we can look at it for ourselves, and the way we can look at it for our own ministries, is that because of the presence of Jesus, because that Jesus is the only one that can satisfy, the only one that can really speak to our spirits and our souls, he brings out the best of us. And so he brings us a willingness to share. You can see this in the church. If the church is doing well, people are sharing, they're helping each other, they're caring for one another. That's what the miracle here that we can implement in our time, is that by bringing people to Jesus, they are willing to care for one another. And so the idea is here that everybody started saying, oh, you got, bread. Hey, I guess I do have a loaf here in my basket. I wasn't going to share it, but everybody else is sharing. And so pretty soon everybody's sharing, and there's more than enough once we take care of each other. So that's more of a miracle that we can deal with ourselves. And I think it's important to remember that. Excuse me. I think it's very important to remember that when we're talking about this and when we're using it in our own ministry. So that's what I've got for you about the feeding of the 5,000. It is one of the most important miracles, of course, because, again, it's in all 4 Gospels. Have a blessed day, and please, please, please be a blessing to someone today. And as I always say, if you like these devotions, please do like and subscribe. Come on back again. Make a kind comment, if you will. Take care. God bless you. God loves you. Be a blessing to someone today. Bye-bye.